Okay, so hello. I thought I'd do a video, another video with the missus
Hi.
to kind of catch up and talk about what's happening in my current situation. So anyone who follows me on Instagram knows that I've been changing jobs recently because when I came out of prison, the easiest job to get into was in a call center and in telesales. So I jumped in. They were just accepting anybody at the time. I think at one point the call center was taking on like 20 people a week, and they were still struggling to keep staff. So they didn't check my CV too hard. It was all fabricated. It was just I just put in there that I'd been self-employed and kind of just dusted around the truth. But nobody checked any references or anything, and I didn't have any kind of criminal record check. Um, and nobody really did, like I say, any criminal record check. So it was really easy for me to just jump into that sales job, and then once I'd proven myself on the phone, I moved into account management, and then I just kept moving around different call centres and different sales jobs, didn't I? And because of my history in the sales field, they never really checked anything. So it was only when I went to go and work for a financial company, a financial company. So they checked my actual. They did a DBS, but that was exactly 10 years. I remember sort of delaying it a little bit, so it would be exactly 10 years. I couldn't find a bill for a month, so that it just got over that 10 years mark, and then I was pretty much 100% sure that it had been spent, and nothing ever did come back. But to be fair, I never even got a certificate for that one, so I don't
You
even
should have
think.
had something in the post.
Yeah, I don't think they did it. I don't because. Yeah, I think I handed in the bill so late that she put it to one side and obviously just didn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't think you did it. Because you would have had a copy. You always get sent a copy.
Yeah, so I think I was quite lucky with that job. And then ever since then, once my 10 years since I'd been sentenced and everything was spent, nobody, like I say, it wouldn't show up on any checks, so nobody would know. Now, I've been trying to get out of the sales world because it's just been a bit too stressful. I can't really cope with the people that sales jobs attract, and the stress was getting to me too much of sort of targets and things like this, constant targets and constant being kind of monitored and appraised and all this kind of bullshit. I've decided to move out of the sales world and go into like an admin job. So I took this. I got offered a job in a care home for doing admin. I got offered the job. Everything was cushy, and then they said, "Oh, we're gonna have to do an enhanced DBS check." So I was like, "Fair enough." And then as soon as I came home and asked the missus, because you work in care, I was like, "What shows up on the old enhanced test?" And everything, even cautions, warnings, fucking anything. I was in big trouble because my criminal record is extensive. It took forever to come back because obviously COVID times and things at the minute. It normally takes about 2 weeks. It can be about as late as sort of 3 or 4 weeks. Mine took a solid 8 weeks, didn't it, to come back?
2 months, yeah. I've never known it take that long before.
And when it did, it was extensive. It was about 4 pages long. And so once I sent it over to the care home to have a look at, they instantly sent me an email saying that the job had been withdrawn. So this is the first time though in 12 years that I've been out of prison. This is the first time that my criminal record's been a problem for me. And to be fair, I've never met or heard of anybody who actually got done for lying and saying that they'd never been to prison, and then because you can in theory get sent back to prison for it. It is an imprisonable offence, but I think most people just lose. Yeah, it is.
What, saying you've never been to prison?
Yeah, if it comes back, you can be done for it. But most people just lose the job, don't they?
Yeah, I've never known anybody to get a prison sentence, right?
No, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything online either. Just any examples of anyone getting caught. So maybe got the wrong end of the stick, which isn't unusual. I was just gonna sort of do a quick one today about this because I've seen other videos before and people recommending that people coming out of prison, they go into night shifts and things like this, and And the job I'm working at the minute, I've kind of gone back to basics, and I'm working in a commercial laundry, and again, the checks were minimal to get in there, and the bar is very low for employees. So as long as I turn up every day, I'm employee of the month basically.
Pays the bills.
It pays the bills, and it keeps me out of trouble.
Honest living.
Exactly. So, but yeah, that's the kind of job that you can just walk into when you get out of prison, because they haven't really checked any CVs, they haven't checked any records, they certainly didn't ask for any references or anything like that.
I think they were just happy for someone to turn up, to be honest. It's not, no, not like that.
No,
It's not exactly difficult work, is it? But,
it's just monkey work.
It's got to be done. And they're probably just happy that people, turn up to get the work done, because, what was it? They said on the side of the van, it's 34,000 people or something.
It's hundreds of thousands, I think.
No.
Oh.
They said every day there's 34,000 people's sheets or something washed.
Yeah, it's tons of
like
washing.
That.
Yeah. So but I think the main thing to kind of push in, when you come out of prison, is to maybe sort of these manual labour jobs, cleaning, fucking kitchens are always looking for work, aren't they?
Always.
And they're never going to be checking any records or anything like that.
I wouldn't have thought so.
No.
Not if you're working in a hotel.
So, that's the way I would do it. Sales, those sort of things. It's not that you want to be hiding your criminal record, but why bring it up and why make a big point of it? My philosophy was I'd always lie and say that I haven't, because you always have to tick that box on the CV, on the application that says you've got no unspent criminal convictions or anything like that. And I've always ticked no, that I haven't got anything, and nobody's ever checked until now.
Yeah, but these were special circumstances,
Exactly,
because you wouldn't get this in most places, only because you'd be working with vulnerable people.
Yeah.
That they have these checks in place.
And my record was horrendous as well. It's like robbery, burglaries, and violence. Yeah, so can you imagine them having to explain that, in a care home?
Imagine if one of the fucking customers' families found out.
Exactly.
They'd be they'd have you. Yeah, that wouldn't go down well, would it?
And then can you imagine if anything went missing? And they would just assume it was me.
Yeah.
I'd be like the black sheep of the care home. So one of the listeners asked me a question, and they said, actually, first of all, they messaged me and said that they were sorry about me not getting the job and things, but it was a great example that they could send to their kids to say, how your past can really have an effect on your future. And we're 12 years later, and even longer. If you go back to 2000, so what's that? 21 years later after my first offence, and it's still affecting me now.
Yeah.
So I think even if they just had the robbery on there, they still probably wouldn't have employed me.
4 pages later.
Exactly. So So 21 years later, my past is still affecting me, and the choices I made back then are still holding me back now from having to do monkey work rather than sitting in an office for the same money. And then also, she asked me the question, what would I say to my former self, or what would I say to an 18-year-old? Because I did enjoy the life I had. I always lived on the edge, and I always did exactly what I wanted. I lived impulsively. I lived for pleasure rather than any kind of sense. Quite often I'd go out and I'd spend the last of my money rather than paying my rent and things like this, and then just move out and live somewhere else. So it was, I had no foresight, no, I was a dumb, stupid kid.
Yeah, but the thing is, you thought you knew it all, though.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't, if somebody said anything to you, you wouldn't listen to them.
And this is the problem, because I've thought about it myself now, what would I say to myself back then? But the problem is I wouldn't have listened to myself. But just thinking what I would do now is I'd just think that, you've got yourself, it's a kind of rucksack that you take with you, and all your actions end up being carried with you for the rest of your life. So what actions do you want to carry with you? I would have encouraged myself to do, more, just get myself a basic job, go and work in Tesco's and enjoy, a little holiday in Magaluf with my mates, rather than fucking chasing hundreds and thousands of pounds.
And if you didn't have money, you didn't have money. You're just like, shit, Alright, I'll just have to wait till next paycheck.
I know. I was so impulsive though. Like it was almost impossible for me to go without or to miss anything. Like I say, I wouldn't pay my rent so that I could go partying. You know, that's only something that you do at that age. Hopefully.
Yeah, but then I used to live for partying and going out and everything.
Mm.
I mean, how many times when we first went out? I think the second date we went on, I was like, "Come on, let's go out shopping." And I went to get some money out and I had nothing because I'd spent it all the day before, and I was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to wait till next week then."
I know, we make dumb decisions when we're young, but yeah, it's interesting. So, I mean, what do you think I could have said to myself? What I could have said to me? I think me personally, I would have encouraged myself into getting into boxing early, to give myself some discipline and to give myself something to focus on, rather than putting all my negative energy into fucking drug dealing and crime. And it would hopefully have tried to instill some better morals in me, as in, because the boxing gyms and the boxing places you normally go to are normally quite positive places. They, everyone, even Frank Bruno had a similar story. He was like a fucking street criminal guy. And when he goes to get the boxing gym, he gets straightened out. It's that kind of classic story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that kind of thing that kind of discipline and, the male, the positive male role models.
Yeah.
In my life I would have benefited from that. But yeah, it's difficult to kind of think, because like I said, I probably wouldn't have listened to myself. I didn't listen to anybody. There was probably plenty of people trying to give me fucking advice. I didn't listen to them.
You won't. The thing is, you don't back then. You think you know it all, and you just think, I'm just gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
I know I've made my mind up. I know what I'm gonna do.
But now we live in a digital age as well. Now more than ever, the things you do now affect you and will affect you far more in the future, because it'll be so much easier to look people up and find people.
Yeah.
It's so much more normal for employers to Google people when you get the application coming in to see what's online.
I do.
Yeah, exactly.
I do.
Exactly. So it's completely standard for that kind of thing to happen. I don't think for a second that any of the crimes I used to be able to commit I would have been able to do back then, because it would be all over Facebook. People would have 4K images of me.
Now it's like everyone's got their phone out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Live streaming it, putting it on Facebook.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have gotten away with half the things I did back then. So yeah, it was just a quick one, really, about the pros and more side the cons of finding employment after prison. It does stick with you and it can affect you. The best thing you can do is lie about it and get shit jobs.
No, just don't work with kids and don't work with people.
Well, who would want to work
Adults.
with kids? What are you trying to bring this about the kids about for?
Because people get a bit weird about criminals working with kids, I imagine. Easily influenced.
Yeah, no, that's pretty standard. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I would have taught myself, and I don't know how I can affect people in the future. But yeah, use me as an example, even if it's a bad example. Just
don't do crime. Think about your actions and how they're going to affect you for the rest of your life. Because that's basically it. It will affect you for the rest of your life.
It does.
That one bad decision, even I don't know, just that one bad decision is just going to stick with you forever.
Exactly. All right, so yeah, thank you very much. Do all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, share it, tell your friends.
Have fun.
Cheers. Bye.